Because success is not something you pursue. It is something you attract by the person you grow into. And long before the applause, long before the money, long before recognition, there is something far more important being built: your character. Most people spend their lives chasing success as if it were something running away from them. They pursue money, recognition, position, and applause, believing that if they just move faster, work harder, or want it badly enough, success will finally surrender. But success does not respond to desperation. It responds to development. What you attract in life is rarely determined by what you want. It is determined by who you are becoming. The outer world is a reflection of the inner one, and before life changes its rewards, it always changes the person first. Success is not a gift handed out for enthusiasm. It is a consequence. It follows law, not luck. Just as the harvest follows the season of planting, success follows personal growth. You cannot expect the fruits of achievement if you have not cultivated the roots of character. The marketplace does not reward wishes, it rewards value. And value is not something you demand. It is something you develop through discipline, learning, and refinement of attitude. Many people say they want a better life, but few are willing to become better themselves. They want higher income without higher skill, greater respect without greater responsibility, and bigger results without stronger habits. Life does not work that way. It will not negotiate with your desires. It only responds to your level of development. If your character cannot handle success, success will either avoid you or briefly visit and then leave. That is why some people get a breakthrough and then lose it. They attracted something their inner structure could not support. True progress begins the moment you shift your focus from what you are trying to get to what you are trying to become. Instead of asking, "How do I make more money?" "What skills must I master to be more valuable?" Instead of asking, "How do I gain influence?" ask, "What kind of integrity and consistency must I practice to deserve influence?" When you make personal growth your primary aim, success becomes a byproduct, not a burden. The world has an unspoken agreement with growth. When you improve your thinking, your decisions improve. When your decisions improve, your actions improve. And when your actions improve, your results have no choice but to improve. This is not theory, it is cause and effect. You cannot out-earn your self-worth, outgrow your habits, or outperform your character for long. Eventually, life brings you back to the level of the person you have become. That is why discipline is so valuable. Discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. It forces you to practice becoming the person capable of success before success arrives. Reading when it would be easier to be entertained, saving when it would be easier to spend, working on yourself when no one is watching. These are not small acts. They are votes for the person you are becoming. Every disciplined choice is a brick laid in the foundation of future achievement. If you neglect this inner work, success feels heavy when it comes. Responsibility becomes pressure. Opportunity becomes stress. But when you grow into success, it feels natural. You are not intimidated by it because you prepared for it. You have earned confidence through repetition, not ego. You trust yourself because you have proven yourself. Life is always fair, though not always equal. It gives opportunity in proportion to preparation. If you want larger results, you must become larger in capacity, patience, wisdom, and self-control. The question is never whether success is possible. The question is whether you are becoming the kind of person it can stay with. So stop chasing outcomes and start cultivating qualities. Work on your mindset, your values, and your daily disciplines. Let growth be your obsession, not rewards. Because when you become more, you automatically attract more. And when success finally arrives, it will not change who you are. It will simply reveal the strength you built long before anyone noticed. Most people think character is built in moments of recognition, when the spotlight is on and others are watching. In truth, character is formed in silence, in ordinary days, and in decisions that carry no immediate reward. Long before anyone applauds your success, life is quietly observing who you are when no one is paying attention. The foundation of character is laid in private, and public results are merely the echo of those unseen choices. When there is no deadline, no audience, and no pressure from outside, What you choose to do reveals who you truly are. Do you keep your word to yourself? Do you follow through on commitments that only you know about? Do you do the right thing even when cutting corners would be easier and faster? These moments may feel insignificant, but they are shaping your future more than any dramatic event ever could. Character grows through consistency, not intensity. Anyone can perform well for a short period when motivation is high or when eyes are watching. But character is revealed through repeated behavior over time, especially when motivation is low. Waking up early when you feel tired, studying when no one is checking, practicing discipline when comfort is calling. These are the quiet actions that strengthen your inner structure. They teach you self-respect, and self-respect is the root of confidence. Life uses obscurity as a training ground. Before it gives you responsibility, it tests your reliability. Before it gives you influence, it examines your integrity. Before it gives you rewards, it watches how you handle routine. If you cannot manage small obligations in private, you cannot be trusted with large opportunities in public. This is why many people feel overlooked, not realizing they are being evaluated in preparation. Private discipline protects you when public pressure arrives. Success magnifies whatever is already inside you. If your habits are weak, success will expose them. If your values are unclear, success will challenge them. But if your character is strong, success becomes manageable rather than overwhelming. You are not shaken by attention, distracted by praise, or destroyed by criticism because your identity was built before the noise began. There is something powerful about doing the right thing without applause. It builds inner strength that cannot be taken away. When your motivation comes from within rather than from approval, you become stable. You no longer need validation to perform well. You work with excellence because excellence has become part of who you are, not because someone is watching. This internal standard is what separates lasting success from temporary wins. Private growth also teaches patience. When you do the work without immediate results, you learn to trust the process. You stop demanding instant outcomes and start valuing long-term development. This patience is essential because meaningful success rarely happens quickly. It unfolds over time, rewarding those who were willing to prepare long before they were ready to perform. Many people want the confidence that comes from success, but they skip the process that creates real confidence. True confidence does not come from praise. It comes from knowing you have done the work. It comes from honoring your commitments, even the small ones. It comes from repeated proof to yourself that you can be trusted. That kind of confidence is quiet, steady, and unshakable. Your private life is shaping your public future every day. The habits you practice when no one is watching are either building you or weakening you. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, honesty over convenience, effort over excuses, you are strengthening your character. And character, once built, becomes a lifelong asset. When success finally arrives, it does not create character. It reveals it. The world may see the achievement, but only you will know the years of silent preparation behind it. That preparation is what makes success sustainable. So embrace the quiet work. Respect the unseen effort. Build yourself in private, and when the time is right, life will reward you in public. Many people wait for motivation to change their lives, believing that once they feel inspired enough, everything will fall into place. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, rising with emotion and disappearing at the first sign of difficulty. Character, on the other hand, is not shaped by how you feel but by what you repeatedly do. Discipline is the quiet force that trains you to act according to principle rather than impulse, and over time, it becomes the strongest architect of who you are. Motivation asks, do I feel like doing this today? Discipline asks, is this the right thing to do? One depends on emotion, the other on decision. Emotions are temporary, but decisions, when repeated, turn into habits. Habits shape behavior, behavior shapes character, and character shapes destiny. That is why discipline has a greater influence on your life than any burst of enthusiasm ever could. Discipline begins with structure. It creates boundaries that protect your time, energy, and focus. When you decide in advance what you will tolerate and what you will not, you eliminate the daily struggle of negotiation with yourself. You no longer waste energy debating whether to act. You simply follow the plan you committed to. This consistency builds trust with yourself, and self-trust is the backbone of strong character. Every disciplined action, no matter how small, strengthens your inner authority. Waking up when you said you would, finishing what you start, practicing when it is inconvenient. These acts train you to lead yourself. Leadership over others is impossible without leadership over self. Discipline teaches you to do what must be done, even when comfort offers an easier alternative. Motivation often focuses on outcomes. Discipline focuses on process. Motivation wants quick results. Discipline accepts delayed gratification. When you rely on motivation, you chase feelings. When you rely on discipline, you build systems. Systems outperform emotions every time. They keep you moving forward on days when inspiration is absent and circumstances are unfavorable. Character is revealed in moments of resistance. When tasks are boring, progress is slow, and recognition is absent, discipline becomes your anchor. It keeps you aligned with your values instead of your moods. Over time, this alignment creates integrity, a consistency between what you believe and how you behave. Integrity is not built in dramatic moments. It is forged through daily disciplined choices that no one sees. Discipline also builds humility. It reminds you that success is earned, not owed. Each day you practice discipline, you acknowledge that improvement requires effort. You stop blaming circumstances and start taking responsibility for your actions. Responsibility strengthens character because it returns control to where it belongs, within you. The power of discipline is cumulative. One disciplined day does not change your life, but hundreds of them will. Each small act compounds, shaping your identity. You stop seeing discipline as something you do and start seeing it as something you are. At that point, discipline no longer feels like sacrifice. It feels like self-respect. Those who lack discipline often seek shortcuts, hoping to bypass effort. But shortcuts weaken character. They teach dependence on luck rather than preparation. Discipline, by contrast, prepares you for opportunity. When opportunity appears, disciplined individuals are ready because they have already practiced consistency, patience, and perseverance. In the long run, discipline gives you freedom. It may feel restrictive at first, but it creates options. Financial discipline creates financial independence. Physical discipline creates health and energy. Mental discipline creates clarity and confidence. Each form of discipline builds a stronger version of you, capable of handling greater responsibility. Character built through discipline is stable. It does not collapse under pressure or disappear when conditions change. It stands firm because it was forged through repeated effort. Motivation may start the journey, but discipline carries you through it. And when success finally arrives, it rests securely on the foundation discipline has built. Every major outcome in life is the result of small choices repeated over time. People often overestimate the power of one big decision and underestimate the influence of daily behavior. Character is not formed in dramatic moments. It is shaped quietly by the habits you practice each day. What you do consistently becomes who you are eventually, and integrity is nothing more than alignment between your values and your actions, practiced over time. Small choices may seem insignificant in the moment. Skipping a task once, telling a small lie, delaying a responsibility, or cutting a minor corner rarely feels dangerous. But these actions are never isolated. Each one reinforces a pattern. When repeated, patterns turn into habits, and habits turn into identity. In the same way, choosing honesty when it would be easier to stay silent, choosing effort when comfort is available, and choosing responsibility when excuses are tempting slowly strengthen your moral foundation. Integrity is not built by grand declarations. It is built by quiet consistency. It is the decision to do what is right even when no one will notice or reward you. Each time you honor a commitment, especially the ones you make to yourself, you reinforce self-respect. Over time, self-respect becomes confidence, and confidence becomes reliability. People trust those whose actions match their words, not because of speeches, but because of patterns they observe. Daily habits are powerful because they remove decision fatigue. When you establish routines based on your values, you no longer rely on willpower alone. You create a system that supports integrity automatically. For example, Planning your day reduces the temptation to waste time. Setting clear standards reduces the chance of compromise. These small structural choices protect your character by making the right action easier to repeat. Life constantly presents you with choices that test alignment. Will you take responsibility or shift blame? Will you prepare or procrastinate? Will you speak truthfully or conveniently? These decisions rarely come with dramatic consequences at first, but over time, they shape how you see yourself. When your actions consistently reflect your values, you develop inner peace. There is no internal conflict, no need to justify behavior, because you know you are acting in accordance with what you believe. Small habits also influence how you respond under pressure. When stress appears, you do not rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. If your daily habits have trained you to choose integrity, you will default to it even when circumstances are difficult. This is why character built slowly is stronger than character built in crisis. It has been rehearsed long before it is tested. Many people search for confidence through external validation, but true confidence comes from consistency. When you know that you show up daily, keep your word, and act according to your values, you trust yourself. This self-trust becomes a quiet strength. You do not need to prove anything to others because you have already proven reliability to yourself through repeated action. Small daily improvements compound in powerful ways. A slight increase in effort, a minor adjustment in attitude, a small commitment honored each day may not produce immediate results, but over time the effect is undeniable. Just as neglect compounds into weakness, discipline compounds into strength, integrity compounds into credibility, and credibility becomes one of the most valuable assets you can possess. Character shaped by daily habits is sustainable. It does not depend on mood, environment, or external pressure. It becomes automatic. You no longer struggle to do the right thing because doing the right thing has become your default setting. This is the true reward of consistency. Not perfection, but reliability. When success eventually appears, it magnifies these habits rather than exposing weaknesses. Opportunities come to those who can be trusted, and trust is built through patterns, not promises. The small daily choices you make today are quietly determining the level of responsibility you will be given tomorrow. So pay attention to the ordinary moments. Choose carefully in small things. Align your actions with your values every day. Over time, these simple choices will shape a strong, steady character, one capable of supporting success without losing integrity. Responsibility is the moment you stop handing your power to circumstances and start reclaiming control over your life. As long as you blame the economy, your past, other people, or bad luck, you remain a passenger. The instant you accept responsibility, you become the driver. Character begins to strengthen when you realize that your life, in its current condition, is largely the result of choices you have made and choices you can now improve. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself harshly or living with regret. It means recognizing cause and effect. It means understanding that every result has a root, and that root can usually be traced back to decisions, habits, and attitudes. When you accept this, you gain power, because what you acknowledge, you can change. What you deny, you must endure. Many people avoid responsibility because it feels heavy. In reality, avoiding responsibility is what creates weakness. When you refuse to own your outcomes, you give away your ability to influence them. Complaining might feel relieving in the moment, but it produces no progress. Responsibility, though uncomfortable at first, opens the door to growth. It forces you to ask better questions, such as, what can I do differently? Instead of, why does this always happen to me? Personal power grows the moment you stop waiting for rescue. No one is coming to fix your habits, manage your time, or discipline your behavior. This realization is not discouraging, it is empowering. It means your future is not dependent on permission, luck, or perfect conditions. It depends on your willingness to take ownership of your actions, your reactions, and your direction. Responsibility also sharpens your standards. When you hold yourself accountable, you stop lowering expectations to justify poor performance. You measure yourself against your potential rather than your excuses. This creates integrity because your internal standards are no longer influenced by convenience or comparison. You begin to demand more from yourself than the world demands from you, and this inner demand builds strength of character. In relationships, responsibility changes how you respond to conflict. Instead of focusing on who is wrong, you focus on what you can control. You listen more carefully, communicate more clearly, and act more thoughtfully. Responsibility does not guarantee perfect outcomes, but it guarantees personal growth. And growth is the foundation of maturity and respect. In work and personal development, responsibility transforms effort into progress. When you own your preparation, your performance improves. When you own your mistakes, you learn faster. When you own your goals, your actions become more intentional. Responsibility aligns effort with purpose, making every action meaningful rather than reactive. There is also a deep connection between responsibility and confidence. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is trust in your ability to respond effectively. When you consistently take responsibility, you prove to yourself that you can handle challenges. Each time you face a problem without avoiding it, your self-belief grows. You no longer fear difficulty because you trust your capacity to deal with it. Life rewards those who carry responsibility well. Opportunities are given to people who can be trusted. Trust is built when others see that you do not make excuses, shift blame, or avoid accountability. This reliability becomes a form of leadership, even if you hold no formal position. People naturally gravitate toward those who own their actions and stand by their commitments. Responsibility also brings clarity. When you stop blaming external factors, your mind becomes focused on solutions. Energy that was once wasted on resentment is redirected toward improvement. This clarity simplifies decisions and strengthens resolve. You move forward with purpose rather than frustration. True freedom is not found in avoiding responsibility, it is found in embracing it. When you accept full ownership of your life, you gain the power to shape it. Character grows stronger with every responsible choice, and over time, that strength becomes unmistakable. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the foundation upon which confidence, respect, and lasting success are built. So work on yourself harder than you work on your goals. Refine your habits before you chase rewards. Build discipline before you seek freedom. Because when your character is ready, success won't need to be chased. It will come looking for you.